Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. So before June ends, I thought it would be really fun to do a top 10 books I've read this year so far video, but it was actually way harder than I thought it would be because I've read 97 books so far as of June 25th. I am in my 98th book and I'm like halfway done. So that's crazy. I usually don't read that much. I'm happy with it. I love that I'm reading so much, but it definitely has to be because we've been under house arrest for the past few months, and what else are you gonna do but read, right? So two of my top 10 I don't physically own because I listen to them on audiobook, but it should be pretty much in order from 10 to 1. So the 10th book is actually an audiobook, and it is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. It's actually the first Patrick Ness book that I've read or listened to, but it was heartbreaking. It was devastating. It was about this boy whose mom has cancer, and he starts getting visits from a monster that's kind of shaped like a tree, and he comes to him at night and tells him stories. And I just sobbed like a baby when I read it. It was a 5-star book, but it was so good. And I know that there's a movie that was made, or I know it was made into a movie a while back, and I haven't watched the movie yet, but that is definitely something that I want to do. Maybe before the year is up. Yes. So I have 6-ish months to read, or to watch When a Monster Calls, or A Monster Calls. Okay, now let's go to my number 9 spot, which might be very surprising. I know as I was going through and numbering them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a contemporary romance, and it's YA. And I mean, YA isn't really that unusual for me, but I have really been liking adult books lately. So let's get into my number 9 spot. The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu. Love has a way of finding you. Okay, so this was just a really cute, feel-good read. I buddy read this with Michael and Amanda, and I think that we all really enjoyed this book. So you see that there's a food truck on her shirt because her dad owns a food truck, and she's kind of like a troublemaker, a jokester at school. So she gets in trouble, and her enemy have to work on her dad's food truck for the summer, and as kind of like a punishment. And then her enemy and her become friends, and then she meets a boy, and the rest is history. But no, it's really just this super cute, good, feel-good read, you know? If you just want a little bit of a break from the world and everything, it was so good. So all these are 5-star reads, but, you know, kind of figured if they're all my favorite of the year. Then we are number 8. And this one I actually just recently read. I don't even think it's been on a wrap-up yet, but it's really good. And that is A Stranger in the House by Sherry LaPena. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, I loved the beginning. I hated the middle, but the thing that happens at the end kind of makes up for it. And I was really going to give it like 3 stars. But then the big reveal at the end, I did not see coming. And it was just such a turn of events that I had to give it 5 stars. So, if I'm being completely honest with you, it's a little bit dry, a little bit boring in this part, like in the middle. But near the end, you get the most twisty kind of plot twist, and it just makes up for the whole thing. I didn't see it coming. I really liked it. It wasn't super like creepy or thrilly. It's very much slow burn, and in general it was kind of a slower book, but like I said, that ending just blew my mind. Alright, this one I read a long time ago. It is in my 7 spot. It's actually a poetry book, so it's really fast paced. I think I read it in like 45 minutes or an hour. But that is After the Death of Anna Gonzalez by Terry Fields. So Terry Fields is actually a teacher in Arizona, and she wrote this poetry book about Anna Gonzalez, who died, and she so it's the aftermath of a teen suicide. So Anna Gonzalez killed herself, and each poem is a different student or a different staff member talking as if they were talking to Anna Gonzalez. And there's it ranges from, oh, I didn't really know you, so it's sad that you did that, but I don't really care, to, we were best friends, why didn't you talk to me, to, like the principal wondering what happened, he saw a smile on her face, or she saw a smile on her face before that day. And then there's just a couple, like, this one student just put no. And it's just, it feels very authentic to me. It did make me cry, especially at the end. Yeah. But it's just like their reactions to her suicide. And it felt very real and raw, because unfortunately there are going to be people that are like, I don't really know her, doesn't really affect me too much. And then they're going to be like your best friends and your teacher and your principal, and it just felt very real, and I was emotional when I read it. So let's see, 10, 9, 8, 7, so we're on number 6? We are on number 6. Number 6 is one that I read a few months back as well. And honestly, you know what? I think this one actually. So number 6 is Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. So this is just another real feel-good type of YA romance. It's about Simon, who is a closeted gay teenager who falls in love online with someone named Blue. And neither of them know who the other one is. They've just been talking online, and they fall in love. And then it's like both boys have to make a choice of, do they both come out of the closet and potentially have a love, or do they stay closeted and just let the internet romance be what it was, a nice little internet romance. And this was actually made into a movie, Love, Simon, which I do want to watch eventually, but I have yet to watch it. But this book is so good, and it just makes you happy to read it, and that's what you want in a book, right? Alright, so I think we're on number 5, but let me check. Okay, so number 5, and then the next 4, I do have them in the right order, I think, but honestly, they are so far up there. They are like so my favorites for different reasons, that the order probably could change and it wouldn't matter much. They're still my favorites of the year. But let's get into the last audiobook that I listened to that made this list, and that is No Exit by Taylor Adams. So this one is following Darby, who gets snowed in at a rest stop in Colorado. And while she's snowed in with like 4 other people. But while she's outside, she sees a child in the back of a van in a cage. And she realizes that she is snowed in with a kidnapper. And from there on, it's like a series of choices that she makes. Does she help save the child, or does she just mind her own business? What would you do in that kind of situation? Leave in the comments below. I would love to know. But it was intense. It was creepy. It was just, I have to say though, Darby found out pretty quickly who was involved. I mean, I guess when there's only 4 potential suspects, you know, how hard can it really be? But the twist, pretty close to the beginning, I kind of saw that one coming already. But it was a high stakes thrill ride. And it was just so good. I could not have read a better, scarier book. And I just loved it. So now we're at number 4. And like I said, these last 4 could potentially be moved into a different order. But I tried to keep it in the order of how I think I like them, you know. It was really hard. I had 97 books, guys. But number 4 so far this year is The Wife Between Us by Gare Hendricks and Sarah Peckman. Oh my gosh. So I went into this with really bad expectations. I thought it was gonna be like a 3-star book, and that, you know, I'd read it and it'd be like, whatever, it was okay. But I was so wrong. It was 5 stars out of 5 stars. And it was just so good because I can't give any spoilers, but you'll think that you know what's going on. And just when you think you have it figured out, boom, plot twist. And it changes the whole game for the rest of the book. And that's why I loved it. So it was, you could not predict any of this. And I just loved the fact that, like, the main character is, like, a super unreliable main character, so you don't really know what to believe. And, like, I don't know, it was just a great psychological thriller, messes with your mind, and oh my gosh, it's just, it's become one of my favorites. Then, number 3 is Final Girls by Riley Sager. So, I love Riley Sager. I read Lock Every Door, which was also a 5-star read, but I don't own it. And then Final Girls, which was a 5-star read. And I want to finish his other 2 books, but that's for a different time. Anyways, Final Girls is about this woman, Quincy. Forgot her name for a second, I'm not gonna lie. Quincy, who survived a massacre when she was in college, where she went camping with her friends, and every single person died except for her. And then this takes place like 10 years later, I believe, when there are 2 other women who are the final girls of their own little massacres, and they kind of meet and become friends. And then one of the other girls who survived her massacre, Lisa, is found dead. And they say that it was suicide. And it kind of ruins Quincy's life because she can't figure out if Lisa survived her big massacre and she worked so hard to get her life back together, then why would she just kill herself again? Or kill herself, not again. But she's like, she worked so hard. Why would she just do that? I don't believe it. And this is kind of the story of what remains of Quincy and Sam, the other final girl. And it was thrilling. It was dark. It was unexpected. And oh my gosh, it just... Whew, there's also a huge plot twist in this that just ruined everything for me, but it was really good. It was so addictive. I thought I had it all figured out, but I didn't. And then we're at our final 2. So our final 2 have stuck with me all year long. So I think I read this back in February. But it's By the Time You Read This, I'll Be Dead by Julie Ann Peters. So this is a YA contemporary about this girl, Daylin, who has tried to kill herself a few times. And this last time she got hurt, but she didn't succeed in killing herself. Yeah. But she is fed up with life. She's been assaulted. So there are major trigger warnings for bullying, rape, and drug abuse. Pretty much all the trigger warnings you can think of. But she's like, I'm done. I can't keep living. So she joins this website called The End of Life. throughthelight.com, which is basically this discussion board and website where you can plan your suicide with other people who are having major life depression and who are ultimately going to commit suicide. But there are some rules if you join this website. And one of the rules is that you have to do it exactly how the website says. Like, you get to pick how you do it and things like that, but they give you a timeline. You have to wait 23 days. So this is kind of the 23 days leading up to her suicide. And it was heartbreaking and devastating. This one wrecked my soul. And it was just everything. So that was number 2. And the final one also wrecked my soul. I believe it was the first arc that I read this year. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it was my first arc ever. So, that is The Shape of Family by Shopi Somagoda. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I completely butchered that. But, here. The Shape of Family. So, honestly, I won it on Goodreads, and there was a time when I would sign up for every single book without looking to see what it was, just because I wanted to win some books. Now I'm very much picky about it. I only sign up for giveaways that I think I'm going to enjoy the book. So when I got this, I was excited because I won a book, but I was also kind of like, yeah, it's not going to be a book that I like. I'm not going to enjoy this, so maybe I won't even read it. So on a whim, I picked it up, and I'm so glad that I picked this up. It wrecked my soul completely, but it's basically about this tragedy that this family of a married couple and their 2 kids go through when the daughter is kind of young. She's like 12 or 13. And then it's the aftermath of this tragedy, and watching, you get 4 different perspectives. You get the daughter, the son, and the 2 parents. Let me see if I can find their names. So, Karina is the daughter. Prim is the dad. Jaya is the mom. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let's redo that. So, Prim is the boy. Keith is the dad. Jayla is the mom, and Karina is the daughter. And you get all 4 perspectives in this book. You kind of jump around, and it talks about how this tragedy affected them. And it's the aftermath of this grief. This like severe grief that this entire family feels and goes through together, and how it changes their life. And it just like hurt my heart so much to read, but it was so addictive. I could not put it down. If you like books that are gonna wreck you, then I definitely recommend this. And it didn't come out till this year, which is weird for me to read new releases. And like I said, it's my first arc, so I'm gonna always love that aspect of it. But it definitely just wrecked my entire life. And if you want an emotional read, then pick this one. But that was my top 10 books of the year so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I upload every Friday, sometimes extra too, but definitely every Friday. And while you're here on YouTube, go check out my other channel with my husband, where we do challenges and travel and do fun adventures and put it up for you guys to see. It's called Bucket List Adventures. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.